Welcome to ecotopiaU Media. I'm Melissa McGinnis, your host, joined by my co-host Tom Wright and a wonderful new friend, Bob Goldberg. Probably, you don't know it, but you're probably eating his product and you're not even aware. So nice for you to join us today.
Thank you, nice to be here.
Tell us a little bit about kind of your start in this sustainability community.
Wow, I kind of fell into it. I had moved out to California right at the end of 1969, which was sort of when this whole movement was building up a lot of steam. I was visiting regularly a little health food store up the street where one of my former partners had started a small food bar.
Was this in Sherman Oaks?
This was in Canoga Park.
Canoga Park,
yeah.
Okay.
And Michael had started this thing, and he was pretty new as a vegetarian. He was very enthusiastic about it. I was just curious about it, kind of. And we used to spend a lot of time over the food bar talking about it. He was very influential in getting me to ultimately become vegetarian, which I did in 1970. And Michael then decided he needed to go to India for 3 months. And he said, "Hey, would you watch the food bar for me while I'm gone?"
Here, take this over.
That's how I got into the business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lovely story. Yeah. And so then what happened? Where did you go after watching the food bar?
That food bar grew really rapidly. We started bringing our friends in. It became a very busy little business, and ultimately we had to move a couple of blocks down the street to a store, a former butcher shop and grocery.
Oh, that's an irony.
Yeah. It was called Larry's Butcher Shop, and the sign on the front of the building said "Never a bum steer," and there was a big full-size cow up on a pole sign.
Oh my God!
So we took it, we saged it a lot, and set up our.
Yeah,
our,
they had to change the mojo.
Absolutely. I mean, it was. We don't even want to talk about it. That store is still active and extremely active 45 years later. Very, very busy. The restaurant is a very popular place. Follow Your Heart.
Follow Your Heart.
Yeah.
So you went from a juice bar down the street to this place down the street, a huge, big place, and it's still there today 45 years later.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
And as we, over the years, we developed many products of our own. We needed to have a spread for our sandwiches, which was egg-free. And so there really was not anything out there at the time. For a while, we were using a product that was being sold as an egg-free product. It turned out to be a fraud. And when we found that out, we were very suddenly left completely without a way to make sandwiches.
The eggs got in there free, is what they were saying.
Yeah.
You just didn't understand that.
It was crazy. But so I started working on the development of the cheese. I educated myself about how to make some of these products, and within a few months I was able to develop the product, which is VegNays today. We didn't have the capability of making it ourselves beyond blender size, kind of. So we used co-packers, which was very, very difficult.
Because again, they weren't used to non-dairy.
Well, and also cross-contamination. You have to be. Are there
cross-contamination was not even a term I had heard of back then. But they just did not understand natural ingredients. They didn't understand why we didn't want to use sugar. They didn't understand why we didn't want preservatives. They did not understand what we were all about at all. So ultimately, we made the decision to start making the product ourselves. So it meant we had to build out a plant. And that happened in the mid-'80s.
And it was a little bit more than just a wall of mixers, I got a feeling.
It was actually heavier on the people than on the machinery. A lot of stuff was made very primitively, small batches. We still make in relatively small batches, although at this point we're much more modern. We can produce about 10,000 pounds an hour.
Wow, and so VegNays distribution now went from its humble beginnings is worldwide?
Well, he actually created the recipe to stabilize an eggless mayo.
Right. It was a very interesting story, actually. I had been struggling with this. I talked to various food scientists. I read. Everybody I talked to said you cannot make mayonnaise without eggs. And and I had a dream one night in which I had an idea.
This is a consistent theme.
The second dream.
Really, yeah. It was like a bolt out of the dark, and it woke me up. I remember sitting at that time. My mattress was on the floor. That was how I was living at the time, and I just sat bolt upright in bed, and I had to try it. I got out of bed, got my blender out, and tried a test, and had some success with it. And within the next few weeks, I had a good working product.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story just within itself. But yet, I've learned that you are now selling this product internationally, and I mean, it's the scope is just off the charts.
It's very interesting because at the time, all mayonnaise was shelf stable. We wanted a product that was refrigerated so we could keep it fresh. So we didn't have to, the formula didn't have to be determined by something that would last on a shelf for 2 years. But we weren't sure that consumers would.
That must be good, that stuff, the last 2 years on a shelf.
You know, I'm not a fan.
Got it.
We weren't sure that consumers would find the product or welcome a refrigerated spread. So we kept it off the market for a long time. But there was so much demand from people who would come to the restaurant and tasted it. And ultimately we said, oh, okay, we'll put it on the market. We'll see if anybody will buy it. And it's fortunately been very, very successful.
At the restaurant, did you call it Veginaise?
We've always called it Veginaise. Actually,
it's a great brand.
We call it Veginaise. Most of the world calls it Veganaise. And that's just fine with us.
That's just fine.
Yeah.
So they call it Veganaise.
Yeah. We had considered that. That was one of the names on the list. But vegan at that time in the 70s was not a word that even occurred in most dictionaries. It was a virtually unknown word. It had been created, but most people had no idea what that is.
And what's the extent of the Follow Your Heart product line now? What other kind of products have you come
Well,
up
we make 5 different varieties of Veginaise. We make another 6 Veginaise gourmet items that come in flavors like tartar sauce and horseradish and roasted garlic, etc. We also make a line of about 15 fresh salad dressings, and we make dairy alternative cheeses, sour cream, cream cheese. Everything is plant-based. Everything is non-GMO. Virtually every product is non-GMO project certified because we are a big supporter of that. We're certainly a big supporter of labeling GMOs. And really like to get rid of them completely. And many of the products that we make are organic. Everything is refrigerated, and everything is fresh. Most of our products have more or less a short shelf life, relative to something that would be on the market. But
and it should.
It's about the taste. Yeah, it is really. In the 70s we used to say if mold won't grow on it, you can't either. You know, and it has grown on plenty of loaves of bread in our store from time to time.
Well, it's wonderful what you do. You're definitely fulfilling a need out there for vegetarians that want to enjoy these products.
You know, I don't want to neglect to say we've also recently expanded into gluten-free baking. Now, everybody in the world is doing gluten-free baking. A few years ago, we acquired a small gluten-free bakery in Los Angeles area in Culver City called Rising Hearts. And Rising Hearts...
They have the heart combination.
Yep. Yeah, we've developed some wonderful recipes there, which I think make these products stand out in that very crowded field. And so now this year we're going to be launching that line under the Follow Your Heart brand, as also nationally distributed.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
I'm so.
You must come by the booth and taste. We're doing. We've got the whole thing set up like a sandwich bar. We're doing.
So you can have a vegan grilled cheese, gluten-free vegan grilled cheese.
Yes, and everything that the bakery does is also vegan, also non-GMO, as well as being gluten-free.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we are so grateful for what you do. I'm going to go have a gluten-free grilled cheese.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm running to
come by. Who
knew so long ago that you'd end up, really, you're a food scientist.
I absolutely did not know. And fortunately, I do have actually real food scientists working in the company now who I'm very pleased to work with.
Well, thank you for being a pioneer in this movement.
Thank you, Melissa,
very much.
and thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.